FOMO, no fear, subscribe, stay sharp, and dance with the stinky socks. Dance with the stinky socks.
Heaven's sakes, don't smoke your socks. Bought some Bitcoin late at night. Woke up rich, that ain't right. Checked again, never mind. Broke as hell, see that line? Maybe risky, maybe wild, but so is betting on Uncle Clyde. Do your research, read your blogs. For heaven's sakes, don't smoke your socks.
Don't smoke your socks.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Everybody hit that light.
No FOMO, no fear. Subscribe, stay sharp. Don't smoke those stinky socks.
All right, legends, welcome to another live stream. Let's just get the party on the road. There we go. Right, legends, let's analyze the price of Bitcoin, see where there's those high probable trading scenarios, a little bit of an update of what we discussed this morning. And yes, of course, I want to spend a little bit of time today on a couple of altcoins as well. And yes, I will take some requests, okay? But I'm going to keep the live stream not too long, preferably under an hour, right? So let's see how much we can get through in an hour, just under an hour, right? Maybe 10 minutes. No, I'm just joking. Right, legends, remember to smash up that like button on your way in. And let's put the music softer and start the technical analysis by greeting the audience, right? The people that's first here in the live stream. Chili Hules Burgers, what an interesting username, is here. Hi Dewald, welcome to the live stream. Mr. Alex, always great to see you here, the legend. You guys are the legends. Mr. Crypto Big Brains, always appreciate your support here inside the comments, moderating. Mr. No Financial Advice, the like button on your way in. Yes, of course, smash up that like on your way in. Let's go, legends. Alex, welcome. Opening a video puts a smile on my face every single time. Yes, well, you know, I hope it does. I really hope it does. Irina, as always, welcome here to the live stream. Smoke 'em not, stinky socks. Right, legends, these are I think I've said hi to everyone. Consta, hi Dewald, welcome to the live stream. Mr. Sockman, welcome. Donnie, welcome. Good day. Right, legends, let's get the party here on the road. I'm not expecting a lot of people to join this live stream because I think there are still a lot of people that's not bothered about altcoins. So when they see altcoins in the title, they're like, nah, I'm gonna give this a skip. Okay, but I want to focus on a couple of altcoins. I'm sure from a spot perspective, we are all curious to see how it's going to play out. And legends, as per the thumbnail or the title, is there a chance for one more high before the markets close tonight? Okay, and I'm going to explain what needs to happen to create that one more high, because I've just analyzed the local structure over here, which I've shared with the Legends Pro community already. Okay, so if the bulls have any chance of one more high, right, there's a specific level or an area that I am looking for potential bounce here to the downside, right? If it front runs the zone that I'm looking at, because there is something that I want to discuss over here, beautiful swing failure pattern, by the way, there's a chance. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on the trend. Maybe I'll play the breakout and continuation here to the upside. The D-line strategy has been absolutely amazing, right? Just to trade a D-line strategy in a trending market, you guys know, the pro members here know, the D-line strategy in a trending market is absolutely magical. Right, also legends, yesterday I'm not sure if I discussed it this morning, umbrella. By no stretch of the imagination am I saying buy umbrella. Please guys, I can just tell you what I have done. Okay, so the reason I want to discuss umbrella here just quickly, okay, is when you put umbrella, okay, yes, I know, there I'm getting the thumbs down. There I'm getting the thumbs down. The funny thing I wanted to discuss about umbrella is that I bought umbrella. Yeah, this is my entry. Okay, and I'm deep underwater. There's no mistake. I'm deep underwater. Okay, there's no denying the fact that I'm deep underwater. But what I've tried to do ever so slightly, because it's such a small part of my portfolio. Okay, it's insignificant to the rest of my portfolio. What I wanted to highlight here is yesterday I bought some umbrella to drag down my average entry price. Okay, so my entry price has now been dragged down. But what was scary for me, I bought $100 and then I bought a little bit more. But when I bought the first $100 on umbrella, it moved the price. I phoned Andy. I was in a conversation with Andy this morning. I said, Andy, I bought umbrella yesterday and it actually moved the price. As soon as I bought $100, shot to the upside and it went back to the downside. I bought another $100, shot to the upside and came back to the downside. So wow, very little liquidity here in these high risk, low cap altcoins. Guys, by no stretch of the imagination am I saying that any one of you should attempt buying umbrella here at these low levels. Okay, it's a small part of my portfolio, and it's one of those that I like to DCA a little bit, bring down my entry. It's a little lottery bag, call it what you will. Okay, it's a little lottery bag. What if? It's that what if bag. What if it does? Okay, what if it does break the trend? It's a what if coin for me. What if it breaks the trend and it comes to at least this resistance, and then it can fall down again? That, my friends, that, ladies and gentlemen, okay, you're looking at from where price is right now to the next area of major resistance here to the upside. You're looking at almost 2,000%. Okay, that's why it's a very small part of my portfolio. I realize that it's a low cap, high risk. So by no means do you put all of your money into a coin like this. Okay, so for that person that gave me the thumbs down just now, right, I just wanted to highlight it here because I was quite surprised when I bought $100 and it actually moved the price. So be very careful with these low cap altcoins, guys. It is a very small part of my portfolio. It's not even 0.03% of my portfolio. It's less. Okay, it's a gamble. Okay, and when it's a high risk, low cap altcoin like umbrella here, for example, it's small money that I'm gambling with. It's a what if coin for me. Okay, my majority of my money are inside of Bitcoin. That's my biggest part of my portfolio. Ethereum, I've got Link, Dogecoin, quite a significant part, and right, the higher caps, but more than 60% of my portfolio is inside of Bitcoin. Okay, right, legends, just something interesting I wanted to highlight over here. Now, let's analyze the price of Bitcoin. Okay, good evening. Life savings into umbrella. Let's go. Yes, you know, well, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to put your life savings in there because, I mean, if I move the price with $100, I can just imagine what happens if you throw $1,000 in there. You know, right? You're going to get a God candle to the upside. Maybe you can buy and sell at the same time, right? It gets the candle to the upside and then you sell it at the high and you make some profit in an instant. I've never tried that. I'm not sure if that's going to work. Right, hi legends again. Yes, maybe alt season starts soon. Something very interesting that I have noticed here on dominance. Okay, on the 12-hour time frame. When you connect the trend with the lows over here, with a little pivot over here, what is promising to see here on dominance at the moment is that you have closed the body of a 12-hour time frame candle below the trend. So for now, okay, for now, thumbs up, you know, holding thumbs, that is a sign of weakness. Closing a high time frame candle below a trend, I'm not talking about 15-minute candles and 1-hour candles. 4-hour already starts, you know, it starts justifying itself. 8-hour even better, 12-hour daily, the best, weekly, oh my God. Okay, so I mean, if we can manage to close a weekly candle below this trend, right, Then we've got another trend over here. So maybe this is the sign of weakness that's going to give us a little bit of love into our altcoins until we hit the 59% mark here to the downside. But there is an initial sign of weakness. Hence, ETH is just rampaging here to the upside. I see the meme coins. God damn it. The damn meme coins. So frustrating. Right, I feel like I need to take a shot at tequila when I talk about meme coins. They really frustrate me. Why is all the love and the attention and the money flowing into the meme coins? I think this bull run has been dominated by damn meme coins. Anyways, I don't mind. I do have 3 meme coins in my portfolio, of which Doge is my largest position. I have a little bit of Umbrella. And if I see the other one, I will tell you guys what the other one is. I can't remember what the other one is. Right, maybe you guys can remember. Right, yes, so fingers crossed, promise and them, fingers, wait, tadas, fingers crossed that this is potentially even a mini alt season here to the downside. Because if you're already getting fireworks, there's a small little teeny weeny dump like this, you can just imagine what's going to happen with a bigger little dump here to the downside. Okay, so let's just hope we don't get acceptance back above the trend. Because remember, guys, when I discussed the D-line strategy, let's let's flip this around, okay? From a bullish perspective, because everyone is familiar with bullishness, it's easier to play something to the upside. If this was now Bitcoin or any type of coin that we were now trading here to the upside, what I would have said is that, guys, let's close a high time frame candle above the trend. Price should not get acceptance back below, and if price can hold the trend, and that's already a bullish sign, okay, maybe it builds a little bit of a bear flag over there, a bull flag, and then, well, bear flag because I've reversed the trend, and maybe we can get some continuation to the upside. Remember to take profits when you hit resistance, okay. Right, so it has a chance, you can see that there's some nice selling pressure. Well, it's not really selling pressure, guys. It's not, because Bitcoin dominance is actually an indicator. You can't trade it, right? It shows you where money is flowing into. People are taking money out of Bitcoin and it flows back into the altcoins, and that is what dominance represents. Okay. Right, but there's a sign of hope. There's a sign of hope here at the moment, right? Let's hold thumbs, like Mr. Tadas has said just over here. Okay, legends, let's dive here into the price of Bitcoin. Potentially the scenario hopefully is going to play out while we are in the live stream. So legends, if there is a chance for a little bit more upwards momentum to come and claim this high again, if there's any chance, this structure needs to be a corrective structure. Okay, the best way that I can count this corrective structure is in a WXY. Okay. From an obvious perspective, you can see this little consolidation area over here. Beautiful consolidation area. What I like to do is I like to take a fixed range profile and see where the most amount of volume was traded inside of this consolidation area. So there you can see the most amount of volume was traded over there. Okay, so if price dips that level, I will consider a swing failure pattern from that level, because this area definitely can provide support. It maybe falls here to the downside, it gets the bounce, it makes one more high, and maybe then we get a deeper correction to the downside. But I want to take advantage of the move here to the upside, right? Perhaps one more high. Let's see how this plays out. Okay, now I want to see, well, are there levels that align with this zone over here, or maybe the value area high, or maybe the value area low from this little consolidation area? Okay, so there is a bearish case scenario where we're not going to make one more high, but I'm giving the bulls the benefit of the doubt, okay? I still see some local bullish CVD building up. It looks like shorts are starting, you can see from the CVD, people are aggressively shorting the level where we are right now. So potentially we're still going to get that last jump to the upside, stop all of them out, and then we get the deeper correction. Okay, so if this is the top for now, okay, I have to now speculate that that is the top, and all of this is part of a corrective structure. Well, how would I count it? Okay, so let's go on to the 5-minute time frame, and let's look at this structure over here. What I can see at the moment is potentially, there we go, WXY. Why do I say WXY? Okay, let me switch on everything that I've done here in preparation for the live stream already, and this is something that I've shared with the Legends Pro community as well. Right, you have a A wave in a 3-wave structure, you have a B wave in a 3-wave structure, so you have an A, B, and then this wave here to the downside that Andy also spoke about could potentially now be a leading wave here to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But a C wave is also a 5-wave structure. So I'm still trying to give the bulls the benefit of the doubt. A, B, C gives you a W. You have a 3-wave structure in X, and you could now form another A. Okay, the B could potentially be in already, or maybe B is still forming. Okay, you could now be forming another A, B, C in a Y. And then correction is done. Okay, correction is done. Maybe we bounce here on the value area high, point of control, and we go and we create one more high. Stop out all the early shorters, because I can see shorts are piling in very aggressively at the moment. People are like, I think we're topping out. We need to start shorting. You know, swing traders are starting to add to their short position. Okay, right. Cool, Legends. So this is the bullish case scenario, and from a levels perspective, you take your trend-based fib from the high to the low of W to the high of X. And now I have Y wave targets. Most common Y wave targets is the 1-to-1 extension and the 1.236. Okay, it can also tap the 1.382, a little bit rare. Okay, but these two targets are your most common targets, and it does align with this consolidation area to the left. Okay, so maybe we're going to form another zigzag here to the downside. Pay attention to these levels, because that could potentially be a beautiful SFP, and it starts finding momentum here back to the upside. Right. It has to be said. So now the question is, Dewald, what if price starts finding strength from where it is right now? What if we don't go down? What if it just moves up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What if it just rock and rolls? Something that I forgot to mention to the pro community, and I only clicked afterwards when I was preparing for the live stream, is that the minimum requirement for a Y is to take the low of W. It's the minimum requirement, and it did. Ever so slightly. Dipped slightly below, and it got the bounce back to the upside. So if price just breaks out from here, and this is why I have the trend, that is my front running scenario over there. Okay, so if I don't get a deeper correction to the downside, this is my front running trend over here, my safety line, the one that tells me, okay, your levels to the downside is not going to get hit. There's a front running happening. That's where I jump into a small little long, target the highs and the resistance area above. Okay, but for now, okay, this could still be forming an ABC here to the downside. Right, cool, Legends. So this is the corrective structure that I'm currently keeping an eye on. Ideally, you form a zigzag here to the downside. ABC or ABC. Maybe it's going to give us another wave here, a 3-wave in a B wave, and then it's going to go down in a 5-wave structure to complete the Y wave, bounces on top of this consolidation area. The people that shorted the tops over here are going to start celebrating, and then they're going to start sweating when this happens. Okay. Right, so this is potentially the best longing zone that I see here at the moment, if we are still going to take the high before the markets close today, because we all know what happens on Saturdays and Sunday mornings. Price just chops and ranges. Okay, so you really want the big move to happen today before the markets close. Okay, so we still have a couple of hours left. Right, cool, Legends. Now for the bears. Okay, it's never easy, right? It's never easy in trading. For the bears, this is your leading wave to the downside. Okay, we've been waiting for this wave because you have to see a 5-wave structure to the downside. Let me just drag that ever so slightly. Okay, let's take this out the way. Okay, you have 5 waves to the downside. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Damn, son, we've been waiting for this. This could be a 3-wave corrective structure, and this is now starting to build impulses to the downside. Okay. Something important to note, that if this is a 1 2, and it's now forming the third wave here to the downside. There's also targets, by the way, guys. There's also targets. If this is, let me just take the brushes here out the way. Okay. If this is 1, this is 2, and we are now building the third wave to the downside, okay, then pay attention to the 1.618. Okay, that is a common third wave target. If you tap the 1.618, you invalidate a WXY. The Y wave, not allowed to tap the 1.618. So this is going to be your clue to start looking for shorts. Okay, but you can play along over here, because what do you get after a 3? You get a 4, a correction. So you can still play the correction. So if this is a 1, 2, and it's building a 3 here to the downside, okay, it taps the 1.618, you could get the 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5. You get a correction and continuation back to the downside. So you can still take advantage of the moves. But can you guys see, depending on which levels gets hit, I change my probabilities. I will then either be looking, you know, if we tap the 1-to-1 extension, the 1.236, I'll be looking for longs. If we tap the 1.618 to the bottom and we fall aggressively with high volume starting to kick in, okay, it's most probably forming an impulse back to the downside. So any retracement to the upside becomes a shorting opportunity, okay, where you want to get in for momentum to continue to the downside. Right. So that is basically what I can like to see here at the moment. I just want to switch on my support and resistances. Very interesting zone. Okay, so this resistance that we broke out from, this resistance, okay, also the macro 786, price is trying to really hold this level. And I can just imagine how much liquidity is below these lows over here. Liquidity building up below this low. So if the WXY, okay, the WXY corrective structure is going to play out over here, you can also see that we have nice support. Okay, you break down, you grab all of that liquidity, you get the bounce back to the upside. There's another way to get into the trade. You can play the break of trend, stop goes below the low, you take profits at resistance to the upside. Okay, so there is a couple of ways to get into this trade. What makes the 1.618 also very interesting here to the downside is that when I start zooming out ever so slightly, let's go on to 15-minute time frame. Let's zoom out onto this structure. Let me put on the stuff, just clean up the chart. Okay, so when I, simple technical analysis, low consolidation area, 1.618 also aligns here with the trend. So if price gets aggressive here to the downside, bounces on the trend, okay, it could continue to the downside, and then you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it makes an ABC. It looks like it's breaking back up. It's getting acceptance back above the trend. But when I see a 5-wave structure, this for me becomes a shorting opportunity. Okay, people are going to say, hey, it's back inside of trend. But if you cannot identify the 5-wave structure, you're most probably going to long over here. Okay, if it's a 3-wave structure, and it then breaks out, okay, but then you want to see the bounce over here, then there's a chance, especially if you claim these lows again. Okay, so guys, the price needs to show me the way. If the price does this, okay, and it comes back up and it touches that little pivot, it just touches it, I'm looking for longs. Because then you invalidate a 5-wave structure to the downside. Because remember, the 4th wave is not allowed to enter the territory of 1. Not allowed to. Okay, that's where I start looking for longs. So price needs to show me the way. Okay, right, legends. Remember to smash up that like button, and let's have a look at a couple of alts. Okay, to the upside, let me switch on my stuff. Okay, to the upside, we still have, I just want to switch on my point of controls. I don't know if we still have a daily level here to the upside. So to the upside, if we are still going to make a high to the upside, very interesting zone here at $104,000, 657. We have a day. Why is there a yellow line? I just want to figure out. It's a weekly level, if I'm not mistaken. Why is there a yellow line here? Okay, well, it just looks yellow because of my resistance box. We have a daily level and a naked point of control in this zone. Okay, so if we do successfully get a bounce, let's say this ABC plays out, it bounces, it breaks out, okay, this has to be a TP zone. For me, I don't care if price goes higher. I don't care, right? Leave a moonbag open for higher levels, right? But I'm looking just to benefit from this momentum here to the upside. If that does play out, you either play the breakout, you play the SFPs from the lines that we've just identified, the fib extension lines here to the downside. You do have support, okay? Point of control aligns perfectly with the 1.236. So, right, this is basically what I see here on the price of Bitcoin. Okay. Okay. What's your target for Doge? And say, Dewald, we can go through some altcoins in a moment. Okay. I think, yeah, I'm pretty much done here on Bitcoin. And as per the live stream title, okay, I want to check some alts here as well. Please check the waves on 1 week time frame. 1 week time frame. If you have not seen this morning's update, I did go through the bearish case scenario. It was quite a eye-opening live stream this morning in terms of the ABC corrective structure to the downside that could still go and claim $62,000. We discussed the probabilities. I'm not sure if Jack is here. Did I see Jack here? Mr. Jack asked a very interesting question which sparked some ideas. Okay, Mr. Jack, I don't see Jack here. No, Jack is not here yet. Right, so go check out this morning's live stream, especially if if you want me to focus here on the larger time frames like the weekly time frame. Okay, go check out this morning's live stream because I did discuss the probabilities of what is going to happen over here. I did discuss the probabilities, so I don't particularly want to focus on the weekly time frame in this live stream. Okay, right, cool legends. I'm here. There we go. Mr. Jack in the house. I'm here. Yes, Mr. Jack, you sparked a lot of interesting thoughts this morning, okay? And together we were able to come up with the highest probability from a directional bias perspective. Okay, and basically what it boils down to, and this is something that I have been singing all along, legends, there is still a much higher probability to claim the high before we claim the low. Even with another rejection to the downside, the probabilities are still higher to claim the high before we claim the low. And I've been saying this for the last, okay, 6 months, 4 months, since the end of Jan, I've been singing this song. Right, there are bullish case scenarios that could take Bitcoin to $400,000, but I don't want to talk about those scenarios. It is stupid to try and think about scenarios like that. There's still a lot of hurdles that Bitcoin needs to overcome over here. So far, the structure looks great. Nice and bullish, shallow retracements, leaving everyone behind that's waiting for the retracement. They can't get back in. So there's some signs of strength. There's a little bit of green volume kicking in, but it's not convincing just as yet. I also realized that nothing goes up in a straight line. At some point, it needs to start correcting. Nothing goes up, it needs to start correcting. This has just been going up very parabolically, especially if you look at the weekly time frame. So at some point, this structure, whether it claims the highs first or whether it starts rolling down from where it is, it needs to correct itself and maybe then continue here back to the upside. Right, cool legends. Let's jump into, okay, 10x Dewald. I watch the early block. Could you analyze BTC Gold pair, Elliott Waves focusing on the period starting 70? Really love to hear your insights. Woof. Okay, right, cool legends. Let's first focus on the altcoins that I want to go through. I think ETH is receiving a lot of attention at the moment. If ETH breaks out, it generally drags all the altcoins with it. Okay, we have seen that it's been very selective during the previous mini alt seasons that we've seen in the last year and a half, that because ETH has been held down almost, okay, and not performing the way that we've wanted to, we've seen some altcoins really perform, but the meme coins has been taking the light, you know, the spotlight. Okay, so now it looks like ETH is getting a little bit of life. Okay, so I want to discuss and just start off the altcoin analysis with ETH. And let's go to the 3-day chart. Let's go to the 3-day chart so we can just get all the price action here into the screen. Okay, and I'm sure you guys know Andy has also spoken about ETH, but this is a structure that I have been talking about for the last month. I told everyone I'm buying, and I think, you know, some people here in the live stream told me, Dewald, you're smoking your socks. Why on earth are you buying? People were bearish. Fear and greed was at extreme fear. I even had the picture of the extreme fear and greed thing here on my screen, and I said, it's because of this that I'm buying. Okay? And if you had the guts to buy with me, well, now we are in nice profits. Okay, because I like to buy fear. That's part of my trading strategy. I love to buy fear. I don't care if price is going lower, but for me it signals a great time to start thinking about adding. When there's fear and greed is at extreme fear, it's just the best time to start adding to some of your spot bags. Okay, so what gave me the confidence to enter into ETH? Okay, remember guys, I always speak about 5-wave structures and 3-wave structures. 3-wave structures are corrective structures, which means that price is still going to continue in the opposite direction. 5-wave structures are impulsive structures, and they are scary because then the corrective structures are 3-wave and it's going to continue in the 5-wave structure direction. So what do I mean by that? So just a little bit of quick education. When you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have a higher chance of creating a 3-wave corrective structure, and you get continuation in this direction. That is how your trend forms. This is where you get your waves that bounces on the trends. It is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the waves that bounce on the trends. But the big waves to the upside has 5 waves inside of them. Okay, when you see 5 waves and you see 3 waves down, there's a high, very high chance, okay, almost guaranteed you're going to take that high again, because you need a 4 and a 5. If you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then you know that the trend is reversing. Then you're going to get 1, 2, 3 to the upside, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3 to the upside. Then you go back into a bear market. Okay, depending on which time frame you are looking at. So based on this little bit of education that I've just showered you with over here, okay, when you look at ETH, well, let's go to the log scale. Okay, ETH actually analyzes better on the larger time frame using the log scale. Right, well guys, what do you see over here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is 5? Where is 5? There's no 5. Which means this is corrective. This is impulsive. So the general direction is still to the upside if this is corrective. And especially because you have now retraced so deep, this cannot become a 1, 2, 3 to the downside, because a 1 wave also needs a 5th wave. A 3rd wave needs a 5th wave. A 5th wave needs a 5th wave. Okay, it needs 5 waves inside of the wave. So this is impulsive. This is corrective. Okay, so this is a WXY structure that I have been talking about quite frequently. Okay, and I have been buying. Okay, I wasn't lucky enough to buy that little tippy top. I did buy some over there, but I started buying over here. I bought over here, and I bought over here, and I still had a aggressive limit order just below that low, and there's a 1.618 level below that low that I was hoping that it was gonna get hit, and I kept on saying in the live streams, it would be nice if we get one more low. But I realized, and the reason I started buying over here is because I realized you don't always get that one more low. It just turns around and it shoots to the upside. And this is now exactly what ETH is doing over here. But I realized that this is a 3-wave structure. A, B, C, W. What does an ABC give you? A W. Okay. Then you formed another A, B, C, W. A, B, C. Okay. Or just a 3-wave corrective structure in an X, and then you have another A, B, C in a Y. So you basically have, can you guys see how complex corrective structures are? You have a W, X, Y inside of a bigger X wave, but it's a 3-wave structure. Okay, And because this is a 3-wave structure, it's corrective. This is why ETH did not take the high, because it formed 3 waves to the upside in a WXY. Complex corrective structure. And I know that everyone, including myself, we were struggling to analyze this structure. And now that we have more data available, the puzzle pieces are starting to come together, because X waves, these waves, okay, in Elliott wave theory, they teach you to say that X waves has the most complex corrective structures, and it even confuses the most experienced Elliott wave traders. Now it makes sense, because we struggled with this structure here to the upside. Is this 1, 2, 3? Why did 3 go so low? Now we're getting a correction. Are we forming a contracting move? Is this 1, 2, 3, 4? Where's 5? Okay, like it was really confusing to analyze the structure from an Elliott wave perspective. But now that we have more information, and I can now see that this was a WXY, now it starts making sense. Sometimes you just have to be really patient for these structures to play out, to start giving it higher probabilities. Okay, and then, okay, you have an ABC and a W, and you have, guess what, an ABC in a Y, and a very complex corrective structure in a X. And there's a chance, okay, and it's actually the probabilities are starting to get higher. There's a chance that this low is in, is finito, is done. Okay. Right, I just want to redraw this fib. There's also Y-wave targets. To see if you did hit a Y-wave target, you take a trend-based fib from the high of W to the low of W to the high of X. Okay, and the 0.618 is a minimum target for a Y-wave, and we tapped it to perfection. But it gets a little bit more interesting than that. So that's a tick for me to say, oh, okay, beautiful tick. But I also know the 786 and the 121 and even the 1.236 is also targets. So what gives me the confidence that this is the target for the Y wave? Because an A, B, C also has a target. The C wave has a target. If you have your A and you have your B, you have a target for your C wave. Very interesting. Okay, so let's take the scribble here out the way. So what I did is I took a fib from the high of A to the low of A to the high of B. And this is now where the planets starts aligning. Okay, so I have all the levels. Let me take the WXY structure out the way. The 1-to-1 extension, and this is where I start buying, when we hit the 1-to-1 extension, because I realized that that's a C-wave target. This is where I started buying. Then when we tap the 1.236, I bought some more. We tapped the 1.382, I bought some more. Okay, this 1.618 on the lock scale was not tapped, and this is where I had my limit orders. Well, this is still where I have my limit orders. Maybe I could just cancel them for now, but I'm going to leave them there for a little bit longer, because this is your maximum target for a C wave in a ABC, maximum target. So because this is your maximum target for a C wave, it tells me that there's a high chance that your Y wave at the 0.618 is in. So can you guys see how technical it gets? It gets really, really technical. Okay, but you have to put in the work if you're putting your money on the line. I take trading very seriously, and I will spend hours and hours and hours analyzing the damn structure, because I'm not going to fucking lose my money. Sorry for my swearing, but that's how passionate I am about technical analysis. I'm not just here to entertain everyone, okay? I take this very seriously. I spend hours in front of the charts. I measure out all the levels, because I can't afford to lose all of my money. I'm a full-time trader. I need to live off my money. I can't make stupid mistakes. That's why I always preach about good risk management. Okay, so for me, this was an important zone, very important. When I saw the fear and greed at extreme fear, and I saw us starting to tap the 1-to-1, the 1.236, when we were in this zone, okay, I did live streams where I told everyone, call me crazy. You must probably thinking I'm smoking my socks, but this is where I'm buying. Okay, some of you, maybe I know some of you, I'm not going to mention any names, actually bought with me. But guys, as always, I do preach, I'm not a financial advisor. You need to do your own research, okay? I can only tell you what I am doing. Right, cool, legends. So this is the story on ETH. Okay? Regardless of this, guys, regardless of this is the best thing that could have happened to ETH. A three-wave structure to the downside, increasing the probabilities of claiming the high. Regardless of what happens here, it is a damn load-up zone. Because of this to the downside, you have such a high chance of claiming this high. All of this becomes accumulation. Okay, and that's why I said, guys, I still have limit orders here to the downside. And if price, let's say worst case scenario, price just falls down here. Okay, and we're like, oh, what happened? Dewald, haha, you bought. I will still be buying here. I will still be buying here. I will even buy if we claim the low because of this. Because I know that there's a high chance that you're going to come and claim this high very aggressively because there's no 5 waves to the downside. Very important. So for the people that always comment here in the live stream to tell me that Elliott wave theory is a bunch of BS, well, Elliott wave theory, okay, is really important to me from an investment perspective, especially on the macro time frames. I cannot afford to mess up with my portfolio on the macro time frames. Right, cool, legends. Yes, remember to smash up that like. Okay, so now the question is, okay, so we've now analyzed the structure. I think something just to end it off with, because I've spent a lot of time here on ETH, okay, it is noteworthy to point out, because I saw Andy analyzing ETH as well, but I think he was using a different pair. I'm using the Bybit pair, maybe he was using Binance. On some exchanges, the 1.618 was hit. The Bybit pair on ETH that I'm analyzing now was not hit, but I saw that on some exchanges it was hit. And I was like, very interesting, very interesting. Right, so now what I want to do is just quickly jump into the 1 hour time frame. Let's just look at the local structure here to the upside. Okay, right, legends, from a simplicity perspective, I'm only going to give this one scenario. There are other scenarios, but I'm going to discuss the one scenario which I think has the highest probability. And it's a probability at the end of the day. Okay, this looks very much like, let me just draw it out. 1, 2, 1, 2, and now we have an impulsive third wave here to the upside. You have a double 1-2 combo. This is extremely bullish. So what do you expect after a third wave when you have a double 1-2? Okay, so you basically have the grind. You have the pump to the upside, and now you expect this to repeat itself to the upside. So what I want to see now is this, the grind to the upside. Here you had the grind at the bottom. You have the massive volume in the middle, which is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and then the structure will correct itself. Okay. I don't know how deep that correction is going to go. We need ETH to start slowing down, and we need to see the choppiness to the upside. Once it starts really falling aggressively to the downside, then we can say, okay, well, now we have a top. We have a clear top over there, because at the moment I don't know where to put my fib. But once it starts falling here to the downside, I will have a fib from the low to the high, and then we can see where's the 0.382, where's the 618, where's the 786, do we have weekly, monthly levels? You know, that becomes now another load up zone, because this is a bullish structure. This is a 5-wave structure. The retracement becomes very interesting for continuation back to the upside, but it's not time yet. Okay, there's still a lot that needs to happen on ETH before we can think of just FOMOing into the trade, especially if you did not buy in this zone. And now you want to FOMO into ETH. Well, it's fine, right? If you want to FOMO into ETH from a spot perspective, just be comfortable with being underwater. Okay, because if you buy here from a spot perspective, okay, you can still get that little choppiness to the upside. Wow, I'm in profits, it looks good, and then it corrects. And now you are underwater. What most retail traders will do is they will cash out. I can't take the loss anymore. It makes a higher low. Okay, it makes a higher low. Retail cashes out because they FOMO'd into the trade. You know the story, okay? You buy the highs, you sell the lows. Right, you guys all know that story. For those of you that are experienced here in the community from a trading perspective, you know you do not FOMO into a trade because the wave needs to correct itself at some stage. You're going to wait for the choppiness, you're going to wait for the deeper correction. You know you're going to get a better entry. Okay, right, so this is where retail is going to sell after the choppiness here to the upside, and this is where smart money is going to buy. Okay, right, acknowledging the 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5, and then you get a potential three-wave structure. You find support inside of this consolidation area. Hopefully it comes down that low, and then it rock and rolls back to the upside in a third wave, because this becomes 1 2 3 4 5 back to the upside. Okay, so this is the scenario for now that carries the highest probability. There are bearish case scenarios as well, which I wouldn't mind, because I want my limit orders to kick in over here, right? And I know there's a high chance that I will not get my limit orders kicked in. So I don't mind if ETH comes all the way back down and then gets a bounces on the 1.618 that got front run here on Bybit. My limit orders will kick in, but from a macro corrective structure perspective, then I know that I have really good entries to the downside. Okay, but for now, the highest probable scenario is the 112. Especially because of the volume over here. 1 2 1 2. Okay, and we were speculating on that contracting diagonal. Okay, I've analyzed it a couple of times where I said, guys, we might be forming a 1 2 3 4 5, and then it's going to correct. And now it turned out to be a lot more bullish. And I did say, guys, unless it's a 112, but then you want to see price break out and it needs to rampage to the upside. Well, that's what it did. I kept an eye on that trend. Okay, broke out, beautiful retest, and now it's just a rocket here to the upside with nice green volume, which tells you in Elliott wave theory, they also say that your third wave has the most amount of volume. Now you want to see 4 5 4 5 4 5, and volume needs to start decreasing while it builds that structure. Then you know, okay, it's coming to an end. I'm waiting for the correction. That is where I'm going to load up. Okay, from a spot back or investment perspective, but you can still trade the crap out of this from a day trading perspective. You can long, you can short, you can long, you can short, you know, build up some cash so that you can buy this low. Okay, right, legends, I know that I've spent a lot of time here on Ethereum. Okay, I think it needs the attention at the moment. ETH BTC chart has hit a critical level, and this was also part of my investment strategy. Let me just open this up for everyone over here. Let's go to, I'm losing my marbles over here. Let's go to the BTC ETH BTC chart. Okay, let's snap it here onto the weekly level. Right, legends, sorry, just give me 1 second. Simba. Sorry, legends. Sorry. My dog is driving me crazy. He wants to eat, so I've just asked my daughter to give him some food. He is absolutely going crazy. Sorry about that. Right. Cool, legends. This was part of my investment strategy, is that ETH BTC has been parabolically moving here to the downside. We were all hoping, all the technical analysts, we were all hoping for a nice little bounce at this zone. We got a small little bounce and it just fell through. Okay, this is the most critical area on the ETH BTC chart. Most critical area, almost the last line in the sand. Then you have this little blocky down here, but it's not really significant, okay, because you have a consolidation area and you have these lows that was created in 2019, August 2019, and ETH just needs to hold over here. Okay, if there's any chance for ETH to do some magic to the upside, it has to be now. Okay, we didn't fully tap that box, so there's a chance that it could still dip a little bit deeper. Okay, but you guys can see how it got the bounce here, right? It literally tapped the box to the dollar, and it got the bounce here to the upside. It is breaking the parabolic line over here, but it's now facing resistance. So maybe it's going to, you know, those 4 5s that I've spoken about on ETH, maybe it's going to make those 4 5s. Maybe it's going to come down, make a higher low, hopefully make a higher low, and continue to the upside. Break out finally. Maybe come down, flip this into support, and continue. Maybe this is the chance that we're going to see on ETH outperforming Bitcoin. Remember, the ETH BTC chart is just showing the strength of Ethereum over Bitcoin. That's all it's showing us, okay? So I used this as part of my analysis, and this is why I started buying in this zone, in this zone, okay? I bought all the dips over here. I must say I did buy aggressively over here, okay? But my most aggressive limit orders are down here, and they didn't get tapped, but at least I'm in, okay? I'm happy that I'm in. I'm not adding anything right now. I want to see the 4 5s. I want to see the retracement. I want to see signs of strength, and maybe then I'll take these limit orders and I will market execute over here. We'll see how that plays out. Right, legends. Now, I've spoken about Umbrella, okay? Just a fun fact about Umbrella. I've spoken about ETH. So maybe now, okay, someone has asked me about Doge. Let's go talk about Doge. I've often spoken about Fetch. I've spoken about Link many times. So let's go and look at Mr. Doge, the doggy coin. The only meme coin that actually makes up a significant part of my portfolio. Wow. Okay, no wonder my portfolio looks so nice at the moment. Okay, just want to see what's cooking over here. Right. Nice 30% pump here to the upside. Anyways, on the larger time frame for Mr. Doge over here is 1 2 1 2, and we are going up for a third wave. That's the bullish case scenario. Let's just keep it simple. That's it. That's your bullish case scenario. 1 2 1 2, and we are now building a third wave to the upside. And because you have a 1 2 1 2 and you go up for a third wave, exactly like what happened with ETH, okay, you then expect a 4 5 4 5. Right, and that will potentially be the end of the cycle here for ETH. Right, so if we're going to get the altcoin season, we're going to continue momentum here to the upside. This is the bullish case scenario that I see on Dogecoin. Okay, and for those of you that has been here for a while, you know that I have been preaching and speaking about ETH, about Doge in the zone. I even have had Doge inside of my Bluffin link. Okay, inside of my Bluffin link down in the description, Bluffin, I had a Doge wheel where you could win Doge. That's how bullish I was on Doge when we were at those lows. Okay, and I said, guys, sign up, go spin the wheel, get yourself some Doge. I see some magic for Doge in the future. And this was about, what, 3-4 weeks ago. Okay, unfortunately, the wheel is not available at the moment anymore, but still, if you sign up, the more you trade, the more money gets airdropped into your account. Weeks, you guys know the deals, okay? The best offers that these exchanges have at the moment is, yeah, with the links down in the description. If you Google these exchanges, you're not going to get the deals. Right, so, and it costs you nothing extra, and it helps me, it helps you to support the channel so that I can continue coming here, bringing you guys the alpha. So if you are not trading with any of these exchanges down in the description, go and try them out. Okay. Right, so legends, that is the bullish case scenario, but I mean, we have to speak about bearish case scenarios always, okay? Let me see if I actually have... Oh, I actually have it all drawn out already. Okay, this is... Okay, I told you guys, I take my job very seriously. For me, this is a job. This is my money that's on the line. Okay, I'm not playing around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a wave 1. Beautiful corrective structure in a wave 2. Now I see another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, at first I thought, okay, and we all thought that this is a 1, 2, 3, and we were waiting for the 4 and the 5, and we didn't get the 5 to the upside. which was frustrating, okay? And there was an invalidation. And I remember while we were pumping here to the upside, we were all still speculating, including myself. Well, this looks like a 1, 2, 3. You expect a 4 and another 5 to the upside. I was waiting for this wave over here to take profits on some of the bags that I built up over here. Okay, and we didn't get this, and we just fell here to the downside. I was like, oh shit, okay. Didn't take profits, but I also felt like my Doge bags weren't big enough, and this is where I started buying again. Exactly the same time as ETH. Okay, there was 5 altcoins or 6 altcoins that I started buying, and I've been saying that in every single not every single live stream, and most of the live streams during the last month, I've been saying I'm buying Doge, I'm buying ETH, I'm buying ICP, I'm buying Link, I'm buying, what was the other one? Fetch. I can't remember the 6th one, but those are the 5 main ones that I started buying. I did share it with the pro members because their macro structures looked incredibly bullish. Litecoin, bought Litecoin, big bag of Litecoin, right? Dinosaur coin. People tell me it's a dinosaur coin. How dare you buy Litecoin, Dewald? It's dead. It's OG coin that's been around forever. It's not going to do anything. Well, look at what happened to XRP. Okay, so legends, this is the bullish case scenario where you have formed a 1, 2, and because we didn't create 4 and 5, I can still count 5 waves in this structure. So the only bullish case scenario that's now on the table is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay. And it can happen a lot faster, okay? It doesn't have to end where I have my cursor. These waves can play out very fast. It can rampage over here, make a short 4th wave. You go up for a tiny little 5th. Your 3rd ends over here. Maybe you make a tiny little 5th over there, and then a structure ends over there. So it doesn't have to be so long, stretch out like I have it over here. I'm just trying to show you the structure that could play out. It could play out very quickly. Okay. Right. Cool. I can tell everyone right now that I will be taking profits at the highs. Although this is a high probability bullish structure that I see here on Doge, it could also form an expanding diagonal where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it falls down. Okay, this is why I am planning to take profits by the highs. I've identified all my profit taking areas, how much I'm going to take profits, and in fact I've already put my limit orders in place because I have to be robotic about this. I cannot second guess it, and it takes the high and then I get greedy. Oh, look at the nice money in the bags. No, it's going to go higher. Stuff it. I put limit orders in place. Let it just do its job, okay? Because I'm going to be very, very happy if I take profits at the highs and it falls over and we down here again, and I can at least say, well, guys, I took 60% profits over here. Thank goodness I did, right? Because I still have my bag from over here, and now I bought a little bit over here. So my entry price is in this zone. At the moment, that is where my entry price is. So I'm still in profits, but this definitely TP1. Okay, if we move higher, TP2, leave a moon back open. Let's see how high it goes. Right, bearish case scenario. Let me see if I have it drawn out here already. Okay. A, B, C. Okay. A, B, C. Right, at the moment it also bearish case scenario. It looks like a B, C 3-wave structure. Now what needs to happen is you need to form impulses to the downside. When I analyze this structure, it does not look impulsive to the downside. Okay, just to keep it simple over here. So there is a bearish case scenario, but it carries low probability. Right, so bearish case scenario is this is a B, C, and now it needs to form a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take out all of these lows. So definitely something to pay attention to. Let's go on to the 12-hour time frame, and this is where now things become really important to me. Is this a 5-wave structure to the downside. Because if it's a 5-wave structure to the downside, you have a high chance to form a 3-wave and continuation to the downside. Right, so I know we're all excited. We want bullish momentum. Looks like dominance is starting to fall to the downside. Okay, but as a technical trader, I have to look at both scenarios. Right, so there's a problem. First problem, and this is why I'm giving the bearish case scenario low probability. Okay, can you guys see the problem that I'm seeing over here? Do you see the problem? I see it in the first wave to the downside. There's a problem. 1, 2, 3. Where's 4 and 5? Same as ETH. There's a 3-wave structure to the downside. So is this going to form 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Here's a problem. Big problem. Okay. Obviously, nothing is ever guaranteed. But this was my clue to buy over here. The same as ETH, okay, because you cannot form impulses to the downside in 3-wave structures. It has to be 5-wave structures. Right, so now this looks more like a, what if this is a 1, 2, 3 and an A wave? Now that looks better, okay, that looks more like an A wave here to the downside. A, 3-wave B, and now you can have 5 waves to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that looks like a 5-wave structure. You have a 3-wave corrective structure and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, maybe a little bit of a contracting diagonal over there. But now from over here, okay, let me just put that there. From this point, I can count 5 waves in these structures to the downside. 3 waves up, 5 waves down, 3 waves up, 5 waves down. Which is fine because a C wave has 5-wave structures. But this little bad boy does not have 5-wave structures, which tells me this is an A, B, C. Done. And now we're starting to creep here back to the upside. Right, obviously guys, as always, nothing's ever guaranteed in the market. I trade probabilities. From a probability perspective, when I see 3-wave structures, especially in the leading structure to the downside, it's highly likely that whatever is happening over here is corrective. If there was a 4 and a 5, I most probably would not have bought this bottom. Right, legends, remember to smash up that like button. We've got, what, over 170 people here on a Friday on a live stream. Don't you guys have better things to do than to listen to me on a Friday evening? Right, just joking, just joking. We are all die-hard crypto fans over here. And I can guarantee you, every single person watching this stream today, okay, you, my friend, are early. If we are going to get explosive bullish momentum to the upside, you watching the stream right now, you are early because I've got 170 people here on the live stream. I can guarantee everyone right now, when Doge and Bitcoin and ETH, whatever, when they start, you know, doing their corrections and they rampage here to the upside, when we get here to the all-time high or the highs again, I'm going to have 500, maybe 1,000 people here in the live stream, and I'm going to have loads of people asking me, can I buy? You listening to this live stream today, well, you know, it looks scary where price is at the moment. It's already pumped, you know, quite a bit from the lows to where price is now. It's already pumped 57%. And I'm telling you now that you're still early. Okay, retail is not here yet. Okay, I mean, considering the amount of subscribers that I have here on the channel, I saw in December when we had that mini altcoin season, I used to get like 400, 500 people watching the live streams. I used to get over 3,000 views per video, considering the size of my channel. Okay, now it's half of that, even less. Okay, retail's gone. You guys are the die-hard people that are still watching the technical analysis. You are still early. Everyone here on the live stream, if price gets to this level, we are going to be talking about taking profits. And everyone else irritating all of us here with the comments are going to say, where can I buy? Dewald, where can I buy? And we are all going to be like, why on earth are you thinking about buying? You should be thinking about taking profits. Right. Cool, legends. Right, this is what I see here on Doge. So someone has asked me for Doge, and I just wanted to say because of, okay, I've basically explained myself. I hope well enough here on the price of Doge. I just wanted to see this trend-based fib extension that I deleted. Okay. Am I on the lock scale? Just want to see on the regular scale. Okay, I like to, on the daily time frames, on the weekly time frames, the larger time frames, I love, and you guys might have noticed it already, I like to jump between logarithmic and regular scale. It gives me different perspectives. It makes me take better trading decisions because the percentage moves needs to be corrected for when you're using log scale. Okay, so from a simplicity perspective, you broke trend. Okay. Just want to see I wanted to see if there was a hidden bullish or classic bullish divergence forming between these lows. Very interesting to sometimes check this out. So you have a low and you have a higher low. Yes, you did form bullish divergence. Okay, guys, these are all the things that I look at when before I buy. I look at all these things. You know, how much confluence can I get to give my entry the best possible chance for the direction in which I want it to go, especially from a spot perspective. Okay, there was hidden bullish I think it's classic or hidden bullish divergence. I always get confused between the two, but you have a lower low and a low and a lower low, and you have the opposite on RSI. You have a low and you have a higher low. Okay, there was also a little bit of bullish divergence. Okay, that's something also that I looked at. This is the trend that I tracked. I was like, okay, break out, brother, break out. It would be nice to claim this high, which it now has done. So locally, we're starting to change market structure over here. Okay, you now have a little bit of a higher high over there. So the retracement becomes very interesting if it does retrace, because it can still continue here to the upside. Okay, that is your most important pivot from a macro structure perspective. You need to break this pivot. Okay. Right, anyways, legends, this is basically what I looked at. The fib retracement that I've just pulled here from the high to the low to the high. Okay, Doge basically found support at the 1.236 and it almost tapped the 1.382 on the regular scale. On the log scale, let me clean it up. Let's take this RSIs out the way. On the logarithmic scale, we tapped the 1.618. Beautiful. Okay, almost tapped the 2 extension, which is fine. I'm happy with the 2 extension even to the downside. But what was more important about this low over here is that when you take a fib from the low to the high of the structure, okay, I mean, look at that, right? Look at that. It's still bullish, guys, okay? Let me take this one out the way. Nice reaction at the golden pocket. Did not even tap the 786. Okay, beautiful impulse, corrective structure to the downside. It's in the golden pocket. You have a higher low, break of trend. You have hidden bullish or classic bullish divergence. You've tapped maximum retracement targets. This looks like an ABC here to the downside, right? This is why I was so bullish on Doge. This is why I bought Doge over here. Okay, right. I do want to point out, guys, that if my technical analysis is wrong, I do have an exit strategy. Okay. If for whatever reason shit breaks out, Bitcoin starts crashing to the downside, it goes to $62,000. The altcoins, it looks like it's bullish and they all start rolling down. I do have an exit strategy. And I can tell you now that I will not take a loss. I will get out with less profits, but I will still get out with profits. Okay, so if that happens, I will share that strategy with everyone. Because if I'm buying over here and I bought over here and my average entry is in this zone over here and Doge just decides to stuff you, we're going down, I will then execute my exit strategy. And I will still get out with profits. Right, because I need to protect my cash. I'm not going to let the market take my cash. So although I'm bullish here and I'm sharing the bullish case scenarios, I do have an exit strategy. So until then, right, the bullish scenarios are still intact. So I'm giving that the highest probable scenario at the moment, based on the berry structures that I've just taken you through, where I can only see 3-wave structures and not 5-wave structures to the downside. Okay, so the bullish case scenarios for me carries higher probabilities, and because I'm a technical trader, I trade probabilities at the end of the day. If probabilities turn against me from my spot perspective and my spot bags, I will execute my exit strategy. But for now, there's no reason for me to execute any exit strategy. Okay. Right, let's go through some comments. I need some water also over here. Dewald, where's the next long entry on ETH? Oh, Mr. Crypto Legend. I'm not sure, maybe you joined the stream a little bit late, but I did do full technical analysis on ETH already, okay? And you will see that I'm basically talking about what needs to happen before we can determine where the best entry will be. Okay, right. Mind checking ADA. Okay, we can go and have a look at ADA. Crypto follow devs and mark it out and see you get one. The crypto follow deals and mark it out and see you get one. Okay, might be wrong, but I'm buying AXS since I see a bullish divergence on the weekly chart. Oof. It's just bullish divergence on such large time frames could take very long to play out. So I like bullish divergence on like daily 12-hour, 8-hour time frames because they play out a lot quicker. The larger the time frame, the longer they take to play out. But by all means, if that's part of your trading strategy, and I can't do make those decisions for you. Okay, right. Cool. At work, so nothing better to do. Dewald, please do fetch. Right, we can do fetch as well. So first up, let's do, I'm just going to take a couple of requests. I'm going to stop analyzing the tokens that I love. Okay, I'm going to take a couple of requests over here. It is Friday, so I did say I want to keep the stream under an hour, and I'm already an hour and 15 minutes. Damn, I just get so passionate and lost in the technical analysis. I just lose track of time every time I do a live stream. Even this morning, I was almost late for an appointment. Okay, because I was like, okay, I'm going to do a 45-minute live stream. And then I looked at the time. I was like, shit, it's an hour. And I've only got like 20 minutes to get to this destination I need to go. I just get absolutely lost in the technical analysis. Right, and shows passion, I suppose, right? It shows passion at the end of the day. Let's have a look at fetch and ADA. But first up, let's look at ADA. Okay, can I see it here? Do I have to go and search for it, Mr. ADA? Oh, here we go. It's on my list over here. Let's just, where are you, Mr. ADA? Let's bring you up. Okay. I did some analysis on here. I just want to see if it's still relevant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this becomes a 1, 2. This can't be a 3. It can't be unless you're forming a contracting diagonal. I'll get to that now. So I already see a couple of scenarios very similar to Doge. Oh, very, very, very similar to Doge. Can you see this? It's either 1, 2, 1, 2, and it's going up, or this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a contracting diagonal. Okay. Most bullish case scenario is you want to double 1, 2 here to the upside. Okay. This cannot be a 4. So you guys can see I used to have this structure here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It cannot be a 4 because you tap the invalidation, which is the 0.618. So this one needs to be deleted. Okay. Let's take. Now what I want to see is take a trend based fib from this low to the high to the low. Okay, almost tapped the 1 point. Yeah, what I do like. Okay, let me talk about what I do like. What I do like about the structure. Okay, and I'm here on the log scale. Let's just focus on this structure over here. Okay, from a simple, without going into Elliott wave theory, let's just keep it very simple over here. Okay, what I like about this low over here is that look how high look how much breathing room it still has if shit breaks out. Okay, if all hell breaks loose on Bitcoin and starts dumping to the downside, it still has a lot of breathing room, and the 786 is usually considered the maximum bullish target to the downside. So even if all hell breaks loose and it falls here to the downside, yeah, I mean, it's actually insanely bullish. It did not even tap the 0.618. It ever so slightly front-runned it over here. So the fact that you have an impulse here to the upside on high volume, and you have a corrective structure on lower volume, okay, and you've made such a higher low, actually screams bullishness here for ADA. This little pivot is very interesting. Very interesting, that little pivot, because that little pivot almost invalidates an impulse to the downside. Okay. Right. You can somehow counter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Okay. Maybe this is a double 1, 2. But I can more or less, I'm not going to go into too much detail, guys. I usually spend hours and hours and hours in front of these altcoins, analyzing all the structures and things like that. So I'm trying to do it as quickly as I can, with being as accurate as I possibly can, given the time that I'm spending over here. So I'm just going to point out some pointers. I can see 5 waves to the upside. Because of this pivot, it invalidates an impulse to the downside. This retracement went too deep, so this is a corrective structure. I'm just going to keep it simple. So for me, from a technical perspective, this becomes a load-up zone. Probabilities to claim that high are very high. Never guaranteed, unfortunately. Okay. Right. The only conundrum that you're going to sit here with ETH is that the most bullish case scenario is that you are forming a double 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 there to the upside. Okay, most bullish case scenario. Bearish case scenario, which is also still bullish, is that you are forming this. Okay, a contracting diagonal to the upside. Contracting diagonal is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It basically takes the high and then it starts correcting. A, B, C, but it forms a higher low and then it continues to the upside. And this is why it's important that the highs, the local highs of these structures, okay, that I'm analyzing on ETH, on Doge, on Fetch, on all the altcoins over here, the highs are always a great profit-taking area. Yes, you could get that massive momentum to the upside. What I personally like to do is, if I have invested $1,000 over here, let's just say I invested $1,000 over here, when we hit the highs, at least take your $1,000 out. So that you take your initial capital out, your initial investment capital, you take it out. That's my minimum requirement. I usually take profits there as well. And let the rest run, okay? But greed starts kicking in for most people. Greed starts kicking in. And then what most people do is that they don't take profits. It's going to go higher. It falls down and now they're back underwater again. Okay. At least if you take your initial investment out over there, right, then you still have your $1,000 to invest when you make this low over here, right? Then you have dry powder. Right. This is actually the most bearish case scenario that I do see here on ADA. Because of that, the most bearish case scenario that I see is that it claims the high and it corrects in a 3-wave structure, but it still forms a higher low. And then it explodes to the upside. This is actually the most bearish case scenario that I see on ADA. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, contracting diagonal. You form an ABC and then it explodes. Most bullish case scenario, double 1, 2. There we go. And put on your moon boots, like people used to say, and we're going to Mars. Okay. I just want to measure this one quickly over here, from the high to the low. Okay, there's a high chance, it just has to be said, that there is a... Now, let me not call it high chance. Let me just leave it as what I've just highlighted. Okay, not going to say that. Right, cool. Fetch. Someone asked for fetch. Let's go. So yeah, on the local time frame, this is just what I analyzed here on the local time frame, 4-hour time frame. Let's go to the regular chart. Okay, guys, I'm very bullish on fetch as well. Okay, I did buy aggressively on fetch over here. This is where I bought fetch in this zone. Okay, I did do a live stream where I told everyone I just added fetch to my portfolio when we were here. Okay, because I also went and I counted the structure in a lot of detail. But guys, that's also why I don't have a lot of altcoins in my portfolio. I need to manage them. I need to track them. I need to have my levels. I need to know where to take profits. It's way easier for me to have 10 altcoins in my portfolio, maximum, including Bitcoin. And then I can manage my portfolio so much better. And I also have diversification risk eliminated. Okay, I don't have concentration risk. Concentration risk basically meaning you're investing everything into one thing. Okay, if that one thing tanks, your money's gone. So you need to diversify your portfolio. I believe 10 altcoins is more than enough depending on how big your portfolio is. Even if you pick the 5 best altcoins, it's still enough. You need to diversify your portfolio. Okay, cool, legends. So yeah, on the local time frame, keeping the analysis simple, I was waiting for the break of the trend. I can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, waiting for the correction, broke the trend, and now we went up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3-wave corrective structure, and now we went up again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe it's going to make one more high there to the upside. Right, and now what do you have? You have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-wave structure. Beautiful. Okay, so that's the local structure that I'm tracking here at the moment. One thing that I just want to make sure of is if I take a fib from this low to the high. Okay, so it's definitely, this can be a 5th wave now to the upside, because right, you guys will see that I do have a C and I do have an A over here and I do have a B over here. Okay, look at the orange. When fetch was falling here to the downside, I said, guys, this is either a 3-wave structure and we are doomed, A, B, C, and it's going to start forming impulses back to the downside and it's going to come and claim the low. We need a 5th wave. We need to take the highs. Now we got a 5-wave structure. Thank goodness. We now have officially, even where price is at the moment, we have a 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4th wave bounced exactly where it needed to bounce. It did not get invalidated. So a retracement now becomes very interesting to create a higher low for continuation back to the upside. So that's a little bit of smaller time frame analysis here on the 1 hour, 4 hour on Mr. Fetch. On the daily time frame, I know it looks very messy over here. I need to go and create folders. Okay. Let's just look at where it is from a corrective perspective. So when I take, okay, I need to switch off some of these things so I can just see everything a lot clearer. Let me switch off everything. Okay, there we go. Clean it up ever so slightly. Right, this looks incredibly bearish. When you take a fib from the low to the high, you will see, oh my God, we tapped the 0.88, which increases the probabilities of taking the low. There's no ways I'm getting into fetch. It looks bearish as hell. Okay, I can count a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure to the upside. Again, you know, contracting diagonal to the downside in an A, you have a 3-wave structure in a B, and you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a C. 3-wave structure in a corrective structure. Now this is where it becomes interesting when I go to the log scale. Okay, we have not even tapped the 786. Okay, now I'm like, I bet you a lot of people are bearish here on fetch because we tapped the 0.88, but they're not looking at the logarithmic scale. We actually tapped the 0.618 and we did not even tap the 786. This is your maximum target, which it didn't even tap. So this structure still has a nice chance here to the upside. Bullish, corrective, and it has a chance to go and claim the highs again, and this is why I bought fetch over here. Okay, I did go in a lot of detail. I measured all of these structures. I counted them. For me, they balance. I'm happy to buy over here. And like I said, Legends, I do have an exit strategy if these trades turn against me. Okay, from a spot perspective. These are just spot buys. There's no swing trades or leverage trades open here at the moment. Okay, leverage trades I like to play on the smaller time frames, playing the breakouts, then you can throw some leverage in there. I am planning to start opening up some swing trades, and I will let you guys know when I'm opening up low leverage 3x maximum swing trades to the upside. I do plan to open some of those trades. It's not time yet. And you might be saying, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, maybe that's why it's not time yet. But when we get that nice little 3-wave corrective structure, I will most likely come here onto a live stream and say, I've opened up a swing trade. 3x, 2x, okay, nothing serious. No 10x, 120x on altcoins, because you will get liquidated before you even enter that trade, right? Because you know how volatile it can get. Okay, cool. Right, Legends, I want to go through more altcoins. I want to spend more time here with the community, but I have unfortunately run out of time. It's Friday. I need to go spend some time with friends and family. Okay, I do appreciate every single one for being here. And guys, remember, okay, to support the channel, myself, to keep on coming, bring you guys the technical analysis, I've got Weeks and Bluffin down in the description where you get the best deals available. It costs you nothing extra. You just benefit from using the links down in the description. And you also support the channel. Okay, right, Legends. That is basically what I have for you today. What is Bitcoin doing? Pumping here to the upside. Oh, that's the weekly time frame. I thought I was here on the 5-minute. I was like, wow, we're pumping. Right, let's see what's happening here on the smaller time frame. Okay, so during the beginning of the stream, I did do full technical analysis here on this structure. So go check it out. I have done full technical analysis over here, levels that I'm watching to the downside, where to take profits to the upside, and let's see how those scenarios play out. I do expect maybe one more volatile move before the markets close today, okay, and usually 79% of the time, Saturdays does this. Okay, so try and take a break tomorrow. Relax, switch off your computer, go and spend it with your loved ones. If you don't have loved ones, go watch a movie, play a game, lie in the sun, walk barefoot on the grass, hug a tree, whatever you need to do. Legends, have yourselves an amazing weekend. I will see you all the next one. Cheers for now.